Goodness me! In the 5th minute of additional time had put Leyton Orient in front, and Leyton Orient have come from behind and surely have picked up 3 precious points.
A very warm welcome to Orient Live tonight. It's back-to-back away games for the O's, and it's jam-packed as we travel up to Doncaster Rovers this evening as we hunt to get back to winning ways. And I'm absolutely delighted to be joined in the Orient Live studio this evening by Jordan Graham and Sean Clare, making his Orient Live debut, of course. Sean, let's start with you. How are we looking? I think this game came maybe just a few days too short for you.
Yeah, definitely. We were pushing to kind of get it for this game, get the ground ready, but it's just a little bit too soon. We did a few tests and the scores weren't quite where we wanted them. But yeah, looking to try and get fit for Saturday and then hopefully be up for selection.
And what a joy we've got in the sofa. You're obviously a regular on the show, Jordan, but having Sean with us, what a treat.
Yeah, I told you, was it Saturday? I said I can't stay away. I really enjoy it. No, yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, so thank you again for having me back. And what a joy to be alongside this man here. What a character, what a wonderful character. It's safe to say I'm more than looking forward to this show, more than looking forward to the game, but especially to be here with Sean is a joy.
And we were trying to work out why maybe we've been picked as the later kick-off on Sky. Are we hoping for goals tonight, Sean? Is that what Sky are hoping for as well?
Yeah, I think so for sure. I think both teams are very attacking. I think you know by the way we play, we get after teams, we try and win the ball up the pitch, and Doncaster of late have been scoring goals, so I think maybe Sky have looked at it and thought, yeah, this is the game that will have some excitement, some goals, and hopefully there's more for us.
When Sky picked this game back in, I think it was early December, I think they then didn't pick up a point at all in the month of December, and now they haven't lost a game since the turn of the year. It's a real tough one to call tonight, but probably a tough one on paper because of how tough it is to call.
Yeah, and I think also if you look at both teams' previous games, I think both are going to go into this game with almost a point to prove. Obviously Doncaster being 3-0 up at the weekend and then ending up drawing the game 3-3 after having 29 shots in that game to Wigan's 8. You know, they're definitely going to be, you know, they've got a massive point to prove, really. I think I watched Grant McCann in his post-match interview and he was extremely disappointed, understandably. And then you look at it from an Orient's perspective, the game that we watched at the weekend, it was a really good performance from the boys against a really good side, and I think we were all in agreement that it was probably, you know, losing the game was harsh. I think a point was a fair result. Going away at Bolton is a difficult game, so I think the boys want to take the momentum into tonight's game, and like Sean said, like Sean touched on, be on the front foot, be aggressive as we are. And we've got the top goal scorer in the league in Dom, who didn't get much service on Saturday, so hopefully Dom gets a lot of the ball and a lot of chances tonight. We've got the top player with the most assists in the league in Ollie. So and Doncaster are really you know, front-footed. The way Grant likes to play, they're very attacking. So Sky probably looked at the game and thought, you know, there's probably going to be a lot of goals in this one tonight. So hopefully I'm not jinxing it, but I think we could be in for a pretty interesting game.
Well, all we can ask for is an exciting game, and of course we can ask for 3 points as well. But before we get our teeth into the pre-match action, let's hear from the gaffer. It's Richie Wellins.
Doncaster were involved in a crazy game themselves on Saturday. How do you think they'll be feeling having lost that 3-goal lead?
Yeah, I mean, it's happened to us a lot of time this year where you think you've won the game and 2 points get snatched away from you at the last moment. So it's obviously not ideal for them, but we're playing English football. It's never over. It doesn't matter what score it is. If you're going into the last 90th minute and the referee puts 5 minutes on, it's English football. They put the ball in the box. He asks questions of you. Any ricochet of any duel lost, it can go against you. So that's why we love English football. On the continent, they will keep passing it in front of you, wait for the perfect goal, and you can see the game out quite comfortable. So yeah, English football, it doesn't surprise me.
I'm sure they'll probably say they've had a frustrating first half of the season, but they're certainly a team that know how to win, given that they won promotion last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy. I mean, I know Bradford have done really well. Wimbledon had a magnificent start, but then you look at Doncaster and Port Vale who've come up, it's not easy. You're dealing against some clubs. I've managed Doncaster in League One when the budget wasn't great, and I knew how difficult that could be. So Doncaster, when I played there, was a big League One club that went into a Championship club in terms of the investment that John Ryan put in. I think they're starting putting more investment in now. But listen, it's a club that obviously close to me, and I want them to do well. Apart from obviously tomorrow night.
I'm sure there'll probably be a few fans there tomorrow night who are also there on Saturday. Just a word for those who are heading up midweek. Yeah,
I mean, listen, I thought we performed well on Saturday. I thought it was a good performance, away performance that we can we can build on. We obviously didn't take any points. We should have. You look at their 2 goals. I think we did have a penalty because again the referee's assessor calls me up and says he actually said it's probably 80-20 penalty. 80 times out of 100 you get that penalty, which is it a penalty or not? What does it matter if it's 100 or 80? So, but no, we thank the support. Obviously another long trip on Tuesday night. So we appreciate the support. Hopefully we can bring 3 points going into a big game on Saturday against Port Vale.
Well, with the games coming thick and fast and some of the injuries that Richie alluded to in his full pre-match interview, there have been a handful of changes. So let's take a look and see how the O's shape up for this evening's clash against Grant McCann's Doncaster Rovers. Starting in goal for the O's is number 33, Kaelan Casey. We believe it to be the same formation though tonight as Jack Simpson and Kaelan Casey remain in those centre-back spots, with Dan Happy coming back into the side. Azim Abdullah partners Jack Morehouse slightly deeper in midfield, with Theo Archibald and Dimitri Mitchell in those attacking wing-back positions. Ollie O'Neill's deployed in that 10 role, with AJ Matthews and Don Ballard leading the line in a duo this evening. On the bench is Noah Phillips, Tom James, Michael Craig, Tyreek Bakinson, Josh Cromer, Sonny Perkins and Charlie Wellins. So I mean, as we just said, it's no surprise really, Sean, that we saw a lot of players cramping up. The first 60 minutes was so intense. It's no surprise that Richie's maybe tried to freshen things up a bit, add some fresh legs in there.
Yeah, I think it's important. It's been a really tough schedule. We're just coming back off the Christmas period, and there's been a lot of minutes in a lot of boys' legs. And like you said, a game like that, it got to a point where it was almost like basketball, it was end to end. So yeah, I think in the past maybe we haven't made changes, and the gaffer's thought about it and maybe not done it, and we suffered. So I think it's probably a good decision to kind of get some fresh legs in there. Good to see Morehouse back in there. He'll bring some energy, and yeah, just kind of keep that same intensity that we have been doing so far.
With Dan Happy coming in for Tom James, you've now got 3 out-and-out centre-backs. Obviously, TJ's done a fantastic job in that position in recent games. But does that maybe give a hint to you that we're talking about goals and how many they scored against Wigan at the weekend? You've got 3 big lads at the back there.
Yeah, 3 really big boys there. All 3 really good footballers as well. Haps I like. He can step in. He likes to break lines. Really progressive with the ball. So he'll be looking to do that. Obviously, we've got Jack now next to Azim. Jack's fantastic at dribbling, so he wants the ball in all areas of the pitch. So he'll be looking to, try and take the ball off the back 3 wherever he can, drive forward, move the team up the pitch. I like the fact that Ollie's gone into the 10. With Ollie in the 10, I think because he's such a good dribbler, he can play left, he can play on the right, he can play in the 10. He moves around, he floats, he finds pockets. And Azim and Jack in the middle, they can break lines and get the ball into Ollie. I like the fact that we've gone with the front 2 against obviously a team that have conceded quite a few goals recently. So yeah, the lineup I like the fact we're going with the front 2, and I think if we, like Sean touched on, if we play with the intensity that we all know we're capable of, I think we can score quite a few goals tonight. And
picking up on that midfield duo of Jack and Azim in there, Tyreek obviously maybe just resting him after a big stint at the weekend. Does that maybe hint to you that Richie's expecting or wanting to get the ball down, and there are 2 ball players in there, maybe you don't have that big midfielder that Tyreek is? Do you think maybe that's a bit of a game plan from Richie? Yeah,
I think so. I think we'd like to dominate the ball today. Like Jordan was saying, it's a team that have conceded a lot of goals recently, so we want to be on the front foot in terms of not just pressing, but also with the ball, keeping the ball around their box, keeping it in their half. And I think Morehouse and Az are really good at getting the ball down and playing. I think Bacco can do it as well. But I think it just adds a little change of dynamic to the situation, and with Ollie in the 10 as well, there's 3 ball players, people who want to get the ball down and run with it. So I think we could be in to see a lot of rotation in that midfield 3. I think at times Ollie, he's a very, very intelligent footballer. He'll drop in and let Morehouse go higher. So I think it can work well if we can get the ball down and try and play.
What I think is key as well, what I really like about when I saw the team, was that the fact that I think they're going to play. I think Doncaster will play a 4-1-4-1. And if they do, then I thought Theo was excellent, by the way, at the weekend. And I thought Dimitri is really good as well. So it's a case of, now we've got a front 2, if we can get those balls into the box from wingers that can provide really good deliveries. I mean, there were so many deliveries that Theo put in on the Saturday, but with the one striker, it's hard. Like we said, Dom, it's difficult to gauge where the ball's going to come. But when you've got both in the box, I think if you can get the ball out wide and isolate the fullbacks in a 1v1 and get crosses in, I think that's a really good way to attack Doncaster tonight.
And the wing-back's an interesting position as well, because Jordan spoke about against that Bolton side who had really good wingers about trying to pin their attack back. Are you expecting similar? We've got two wingers playing in those wing-back positions. Are you expecting the same against an attacking Grant McCann side?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of ironic, really, because if you look at the matchup, Theo is the one that you would expect to be up and down constantly because he's an absolute machine, whereas Dimitri you'd probably say would be more of the winger-esque and stay high, probably not as good defensively as Theo is, and probably not as fit as Theo. But I think tonight, if they get the balance right in terms of one high, one low when they need to be, Dimitri was in excellent positions twice in the game against Bolton to clear the ball, and I think that's something that he's learning as he's going. So I think that they're both fitting into that wing back role quite nicely, and hopefully they can keep staying in the team and get a run of games, because once they get their rhythm, it's naturally you're going to produce better performances. So I think if the boys can get the ball out wide tonight and get loads of crosses in the box, you'll have Ollie that will definitely be in there. You'll have the two strikers definitely in there, and Azim's got a great engine, so Azim will probably find himself somewhere around the edge of the box, and I think hopefully tonight the ball drops in the right areas and we get some goals.
I mean, that's the thing as well, Sean. Whilst some fans might call it a back five, I think everyone apart from the back three, you'd probably say are forward-thinking players.
100%. I think to touch on what Jordan was saying, both Theo and Demi have both played fullback and attacking wingers, so it really gives you that balance in terms of when we're attacking, they're both in the box, one's crossing, one's in the back stick, and then when we're defending, they're really good at defending the back post as well. So getting those crosses in and being aggressive and high up the pitch, like we were saying before, if we can have possession, it gives them time to get up the pitch. It gives the opposite wing back to get in at the back stick instead of it being really transitional. So I think that's potentially why he's gone with that midfield and those two wing backs.
And just going back to what you said about Dom and AJ up top in a front two tonight, that's positive as well. We've seen it from Dom this season. He looks like a player that enjoys playing in a partnership, and something you don't see much in the modern game.
Yeah, you don't know, but I completely agree on it. I think that Dom, if you were to ask him, I think he would tell you that he prefers probably to play with another striker, and he can mix up his runs. He can come short, he can go long. It's completely different when you play that role as a 9 on your own to when you're playing it with another strike partner. So yeah, I think he'll be looking forward to that tonight. And I think another key point is probably leadership. I mean, as much as I'm enjoying having this man here sat next to me, he's one of the leaders on the team. He's a massive character. He's great for the boys. He talks off the pitch, he talks on the pitch. He'll always ask for the ball in all areas of the pitch, and I think that's essential when you're playing in that too. So hopefully with Jack as well. Jack wants the ball in all areas of the pitch. Azim's got a great engine. So yeah, hopefully the loss of Sean tonight, Jack can take his opportunity and play really well, and hopefully it helps the team in the long run.
And let's talk defensively for a second, Sean, as well. I mean, I'm sure everyone would know that maybe don't want to concede as many goals maybe we have in the first half of the season, and our away form especially maybe hasn't been as good as we want it to be. We've bolstered the defence with Kaelan Casey though. He's started on Saturday for his full debut, and he looks like a big strong lad from a Premier League club, and he's added a bit of an oomph in there. 100%.
I think I heard a lot of good things about him before he came in, from people around football, people that I trust in football, so I was excited to see him play on Saturday. Obviously I would have loved to have been there playing with him, but he looks like he's really solid defensively. He won a lot of headers, he was aggressive, but I think he also can get the ball down. He's come from a very good club, and they want to play there, so he gets the ball down and plays forward. Much like Will, who unfortunately is injured, they can do the hard graft, they can do the tackling, the heading, but they get the ball down and play, and I think that will be massive today with the midfield that we have, getting that into their feet and letting them kind of run the game, rather than, I think if it's transitional today, it'll be a lot more difficult than if we can win that first one, get the second ball down and really look to play wide into Theo's feet, into Demi's feet, and get those crosses in, like Jordan was saying, into AJ and Dom, who thrive off those kind of balls in.
As we've seen from some of these clips, Jordan, he was involved in a lot of the action on Saturday, and it's maybe played a few games for Swansea in the Championship, but he looked like he slot in.
Yeah, I think he looks really good. I think he's a great addition to the group. He's got great physical presence. He looks composed on the ball, and I think we need that, especially the way that the manager wants the team to play. So sometimes we can mix the game up. So depending on the position, he'll want the ball to go long, maybe for the first 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and earn the right to play. But I think that he can do both. I think he's technically really good. Haps obviously technically really good, and Simo's technically really good. So I think, and they're all big physical presences, so they're good on set pieces. So I think he's a really good addition to the group. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see the whole dynamic of the back three tonight. But I think tonight is definitely going to be about them being as solid as they can, because I think there'll be a lot of chances from both teams created tonight.
Well, a strong defensive display would be nice indeed. Now, don't forget, kick-off is just under 15 minutes away. And if you're yet to pick up your match or audio pass to follow all the action here on Orient Live, then head over to the Match Centre now and do just that, and you can follow every single kick of the action here on Orient Live. But now, before we turn our attention to the home side, let's hear from Kaelan Casey.
I've really enjoyed it. Everyone's been really welcoming. All the boys, staff, all the people that work here have been really welcoming to me. So yeah, it's been a great start. It's really important. I think it's to get to know the players you're playing with. I had a job to do when I come on, and to see out the win, and we did that well. So it was good. Saturday was a really big game against Barton for us. Unfortunately, we didn't come away with anything, but I feel like we should at least come away with a draw. But to be fair, I think the performance we put in, I think we deserve to come away with 3 points. There's a lot of positives to take. We've had a debrief on the game, and there's a few things we can work on and hopefully take into the game tomorrow. Going there, it's just like nice. All the boys are saying it's quite a tough place to go with the crowd and that, especially when they're with Bolton, they get on their side. But I feel like we cut the noise down from the crowd and that, and I feel like we played well. I think the performance showed that what we did well in that. But yeah, I think it was unfortunate not to come away with a point at least. I thought I did okay. It's nice when people say you play well and that, but when you come away with no points, it don't really mean anything. I think the main thing is a team performance and getting the win and getting us up that table. It's really important to start picking up wins and trying to get out that table. We've still got a long way to go, but hopefully we pick up the 3 points tomorrow and then go on to Saturday. I'm really confident that the group and all the staff here, everyone works really well together, whether that's in training or in meetings. I've come in and been really impressed by the work rate in training and in games, and that's what I wanted to be a part of when I come in.
Is lunch at work awesome? If so, tune out now. If not, keep listening. Picture this: chef-made meals from local restaurants brought right into your workplace. No sad sandwiches, no tired menus. By tapping into the local restaurant scene, Fuda powers workplace dining for companies across the U.S., giving teams flavor, convenience, and authenticity. Half of Glassdoor's best places to work have partnered with Fuda. Is your team ready to upgrade its workplace food scene? Find out how at Fuda.com. That's FOODA.com.
You have a choice. You can waste 20, maybe 30% of your media budget, spend millions reaching bots, the wrong people, or no one at all. Or just use 0 to 1. It knows who's ready to buy. It's over 85% accurate. Zero wasted spend. The future of marketing isn't guessing. It's knowing.
Time to turn our attention to the home side for this evening's game then, and it's Grant McCann's Doncaster Rovers, who have had something of a resurgence in form in recent matches. But let's take a look first at how Grant shapes up his side for this evening's fixture. Starting in goal is number 1, Xander Clark. We believe it will be a back four tonight with Jamie Sterry and Jack Senior in the fullback positions, with the recent signing Neil Byrne, who recently joined from Bradford on loan, and Jay McGrath playing at the back. Robbie Gotts is in midfield with Owen Bailey and Harry Clifton, Owen Bailey wearing the armband. Hakeeb Adelakan and Luke Molyneux playing the wides positions, and Everton loanee Francis Okoronkwo plays up top for Donny. And on the bench is Timothy Lowe Tutala, Thomas Nixon, Darren Robinson, George Broadbent, Jordan Gibson, Glenn Middleton and Billy Sharp. We've touched on them already, Sean, but looking back to Saturday's game, to be 3-0 up and to not take all 3 points, I guess we're hoping that will be playing on their minds a bit tonight.
Yeah, it feels like a loss, honestly. I'm sure you've been there as well.
Yeah, indeed,
You're up, you're feeling good. When you get 3-0 in a game, you think, okay, maybe we can start playing it a little bit more, start doing things, and then you concede one, all right, you concede two, and you're like, oh no, what's going on here? And then to concede so late, and some of the goals that they conceded were not great, but it shows their intent, it shows their attacking intent. They want to get forward, they want to get numbers forward, but that's something that we can capitalise on and really use that to counter with the speed that we have in the team and the quality we have. If we get that final pass right, I think there's a lot of opportunities for us to have there. Same way, I think they conceded a couple goals from set pieces recently, and we've got a big side like we were touching on with Haps, Kaelan and Simo in there as well. And people like Azim can get involved in the box as well. So I think there's definitely opportunities on the counter and from set pieces if we can be sturdy and have a base to move forward with. They
know where the back of the net is, as we've just seen.
Yeah, they do. I mean, I'm hoping no one tonight for Orient heads the ball on the floor to the player for him to... Who was it that did that? Phil Jones one time did that, didn't he?
I remember that.
Yeah, he did actually. Yeah, he did. But no, Sean's absolutely right. Yeah, they're a team that they're very good offensively. I think that Okoronkwo scored on his debut, which is going to give him the world of confidence. So he'll be looking to add to that. I really like Luke Molyneux as a player. I think his delivery is excellent. So he's a big threat when the ball goes out wide. But I imagine him to be playing on the right tonight, I think. So which suits us well with Theo at left wing back, because I think, like we touched on with against Bolton, Theo enjoys a challenge. So playing against one of their better players, I think will play into our hands with Theo marking him. But again, I think it's about us. I think it's about us tonight. I think, like I said, they're going to be, they're going to have, they're going to be disheartened after their result at the weekend. There's no doubt about that, and they've got a point to prove tonight. But the same way, I think we had a really good performance on Saturday, and I think there's plenty of stuff that we can build on from the game at the weekend. So if we play with that intensity, that level of drive, and also not get complacent, because I think it's a really common thing in football where you almost look at a team and their place in the league and you think, we'll have more of the ball tonight, and it can slowly creep into the players' subconscious minds that we can dominate this, and in this league that's how you get caught out. So the boys, I'm sure Richie would have been hammering it home that you need to be on it tonight. We need to play. We need to get in their faces, press them high, create loads of chances, try and get a goal early, try and get a couple of goals early if possible, and really put them on the back foot. And after what happened at the weekend, them conceding 3 in the second half, I think the crowd will start to turn a little bit, and we can take full advantage of that.
They've only conceded 1 less goal than us this season. We've scored 12 more goals than them though, but only 5 points separate this side. We're coming towards the end of January. It's not a must win, of course, but you do look at the table, or you do start to look at the table, and this is a game that there's a bit of importance on.
Yeah, I think more importance on building some momentum. I think that's been our problem this season. I think the performances, especially of late, have been there. I think we've been partially unlucky and then partially our own fault in terms of conceding last-minute goals or late goals that have taken points away from us. But I think especially for some momentum and going into a big home game on the weekend, if we can get a good result here, it starts to snowball and you start to pick up points. The table this season is so tight. There's no real front runners like we were saying before. There's Cardiff are out there a bit more, but other than that, it's really cramped up. And I think if you get a little run going in the league this season, you can just shoot up the table. So I think it will, like you said, it's not live or die by this result, but it will be a very good stepping stone and platform for us to kind of push on and hopefully then kick on to the weekend and games ahead.
And looking at that defensive record, it would be nice to go out there, put a few past them and make them have that stat of the most goals conceded.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I think Sean's bang on. I think if you look at the performance against Cardiff and you look at the performance against Bradford, I think, and even the first half, especially in the performance against Bolton, I think we put together some really good performances. And then I remember touching on it at the end of the show on Saturday, saying we then go in to play Doncaster on Tuesday, which is a very winnable game for us if we're at it. And then we play Port Vale at home on Saturday, who are also another team that's struggling. And then things can change really quickly. We know how it works in football. You pick up 6 points in the space of 4 days, and that snowball effect kicks into play, and the vibe changes, and everyone's a little bit more upbeat. Players are going into games with more confidence, and slowly but surely you start creeping up the league. And we saw it last year when we had those 2 incredible runs. It was, I think when I did my knee, we were maybe near or in the relegation zone, and then we end up in the playoff final. So it is all about momentum, and I think we've got to look at these 2 fixtures now as definite games that we can go out and win, and hopefully come Saturday evening we've got 6 more points on the board, and we're in a much more positive place in the league.
And looking at some of those goals, some of the wider goals conceded by Doncaster, maybe looking at that you can see why Richie's opted for such a front-footed lineup. Definitely.
I think from the goals that we just watched, there's a big array of goals. There's a lot of crosses, but there's some from inside the box, low crosses, edge of the box. So I think we've got a nice balance there. We've got AJ there up front with a bit of height. We've got Dom, who's very technical, can get the ball down, and he's in fire form at the moment. And then, like we were saying, Azim who can get forward, Ollie who can get forward, and people who can score kind of different types of goals, which should give a good balance in attacking their defence and really pushing them back. And like Jordan was saying, you score an early goal, you get a little bit of momentum in the game, and now the crowd starts to turn, and you start feeling a bit better about yourself, and then you 2-0 up, and we can really capitalise on it.
I mean, the players are making their way out up in Doncaster, Jordan, but we've touched on it already, but how much do you want to see us just take the game to Doncaster here?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's almost, I think that's a given. I think pretty much every game that Richie goes into with the boys, I think he tells them he wants to be on the front foot. And that's what I love about, the manager and the team's mentality, is that everyone's willing to press, to go out and be front-footed. I think we rarely ever really sit in. I can't really remember the last time that we sat in against a team. So we've got, and we've got really fit, athletic players that want to press high. I'm not too sure about the stat on high turnovers, but I think we'll be pretty up there in the league table for high turnovers because of how much we do press the opposition. And I think tonight, like I keep touching on, the result of the weekend for Doncaster, that will definitely be playing in their minds. So I think that's a key element tonight to start the game with real intensity, put them on the back foot, and see what happens.
Do we need a bit of trepidation still, though, Sean? Doncaster will be looking at us in maybe in a similar fashion and thinking, if we close them down another 3 points, then that brings them right back into a decent or a better position. So we've got to be cautious still.
Everything that we're saying, they're probably saying the same thing. Do you know what I mean? We've conceded way too many goals this season for the players that we have in the building, and we conceded late goals. So these are things that they'll try and capitalise on the same way we will as well. I think today it will be a clash of who can be defensively solid enough and who takes their chances, because I have a feeling there'll be a lot of chances this game, and I think it will really rely on that. Well,
you've said, Jordan, that we've got goals in us, and you've also said that Grant McCann's side has goals in them as well, haven't you? I mean, goals. Hopefully all in our direction, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And fingers crossed that I haven't jinxed it and we're going to get a 0-0. But no, I think it's going to be a really exciting game. It's one that I'm really looking forward to. 2 managers that are very passionate about the way they want to play and how they play and how they see the game. And I think when you get a clash of those 2 styles and 2 managers that are so headstrong about what they want to do, then it's going to lead into an exciting game. So it's one I'm really looking forward to.
Well, kickoff is very nearly here, so let's do it. Let's hand over to Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock.
Good evening and welcome to the Eco Power Stadium, a ground that is well known to Richie Wellins. He was here as a player, of course. He was a fan's favourite when Rovers gained promotion to the Championship, and he's met them on 5 occasions as a manager, and he is yet to lose, and it's something that he needs to ensure he maintains tonight, Matt.
Well, absolutely, Dave. Yeah, it's a big game, no doubt about it. You look at the league table, it's looking tight. I perhaps wouldn't go as far to say as it's a must-win, but I would say it's one we cannot afford to lose.
I'd imagine that Doncaster see this as a game that they probably do need to win, because they do have a game in hand on the O's, and of course start the evening 5 points behind Leyton Orient to make 3 changes. There's 1 change for Doncaster as the ball is launched towards the Leyton Orient half and it bounces away for a throw. So there's 3 changes for Leyton Orient, Matt.
Yeah, the 3 changes, Tom James, Tariq Backinson and Charlie Wellins all dropped to the bench. In come Happy, Morehouse and AJ Matthews, the loanee from Millwall. Just the 1 change for the home side. Byrne, the sign-in less than 24 hours ago from Bradford on loan. He starts. Broadbent drops to the bench this evening.
Senior to take this throw on the halfway line. It's a throw that's delivered down the left-hand channel, and Azim Abdullahi clears into the centre circle. Stewie brings it under control on his chest and powers the ball forward. Oh, that was so close. Well, he had a lot of space to run into, and the shot was hit with real power, Matt.
Yeah, it wasn't far away, was it? Nervous moment for the O's, with Killian Cahill at full stretch.